So you want a Surface Pro, but you don't love the price? Well, HP has a solution for you with the Spectre X2. Today I'm going to tell you what's good about it and also what's bad. Stay tuned. So here it is, the Spectre X2. Now make no mistake, this is a Surface Pro clone 100%, but that's all right. HP has definitely used their own design language here, and I really, really like it. So you have this dark ash color along with this copper on the kickstand, which is a nice two-tone look. They've been using this in the Spectre series for a while now, and I really, really like it. This kickstand is also pretty cool. It's a U-style kickstand, so it just pops out like this, and it can go up to 165 degrees, just like the new Surface Pro. It's made from stainless steel, copper-plated. It looks really, really nice. Now, HP said they did this design, so they didn't have to really dig into the chassis. They could put a little bit bigger battery in there, along with some other components, and I think it works very well. It gives its own design language that's distinct from Surface, but at the same time, it's very functional. The device itself is very clean looking. In fact, it's slightly more clean than the Surface Pro. You got more rounded edges on it. Let's take a look on top here. You have very rounded edges along with this radial vent, and it only takes about 20% of the entire device versus Surface Pro, which goes around to the sides as well. On top here, you do have the power button. It's a little hard to press, but that's okay. You're not going to accidentally turn on this device while it's in your bag, which is really nice. Coming along to the right-hand side, you have the volume buttons up and down, along with one of two USB Type-C ports. Now that is a USB Type-C 3.1, which means you get about 5 gigabits per second for data transfer, power, and display out. It is not Thunderbolt 3. In fact, this device does not have Thunderbolt 3. You also have over here the nice Bang & Olufsen logo, which, you know, some people don't like advertising on the device, but I think this actually looks pretty classy here. You have a little notch here for the kickstand as well, which is really nice for pulling it out. Coming to the bottom, you have standard pin connectors here for the keyboard. Now, in case you're wondering, you cannot use the Surface Pro keyboard with this, nor could you use this keyboard with the Surface Pro. It is all proprietary. So coming on to the other side here, you have the other USB Type-C port. Same as the other style. You can use this for charging, display, or data. You also have a little tiny LED there for when plugged in. It tells you if it's charging or not. Now, there is no USB Type-A, but they do give you, yes, a dongle in the box. So you can use this to connect to your Type-A peripherals. You also have a micro SD slot there. Now, you do need a little pin thing to open it up, so you won't be hot swapping the SD card on the go with this device, not without some trouble. And finally, you have the headphone jack placed in the upper left-hand corner, just like Surface Pro. Other than that, though, the device itself is very clean. I just love the way it feels. There's no creaking to it. It's a very solid build, very light too, and thin. In fact, it's slightly thinner than the Surface Pro, but not by much. Turning to the display, you have a 3000 by 2000 display resolution, which is of course 3:2 aspect ratio, so same as the Surface Pro, but that resolution is 9% higher than the Surface Pro. Will you notice it? Not really, but when was the last time someone complained about a display being too sharp? I'm not at all. So it looks really nice. HP has done a great job with their display technology in their recent devices. Same here. It's just very easy to look at, and it gets about 450 nits for brightness, which isn't the brightest in the world, but most laptops are in the 300 range, so definitely pretty decent. It is glossy, of course, but not too glossy. Overall, very good. Turning to the top here, you do have a full HD webcam, which works pretty well, along with Windows Hello for facial recognition. Now, the Surface Pro is slightly faster because Microsoft has tweaked their system to be so, but the HP one overall works very well, and it's very similar to all other Windows Hello devices on the market. For speakers, you have two up here. They're both front-facing, which is really nice. Once again, placed right where the Surface Pros are. Now, these are tuned by Bang & Olufsen, which, of course, HP has a good relationship with. They're pretty good speakers. They definitely sound great for voice and music. It does lack richness and bass, though. Obviously, that's pretty hard to do in a device this thin, but overall, they're okay speakers. I would say above average, but not my favorite on the market. For bezels, they are definitely slightly thicker than the Surface Pro, but that's okay because you get to hold this like a tablet, so I didn't really have any issues there. Now, compared to the last Spectre X2 from 2015, they've had significant reduction in those bezel sizes, so overall pretty decent. For the keyboard, HP has done another outstanding job. Now, if you had issues with the Alcantara keyboard for Surface Pro, you get all metal here, which is really nice. Now, I have no issues with Alcantara. It's been lasting fine with no issues. But obviously metal, no problem there for lasting a long time. Very, very solid, no flex to it whatsoever. Moreover, the keys have 1.5 millimeter of key travel, which is higher than 1.3 millimeter in the Surface Pro. Generally speaking, 1.5 millimeter is the sweet spot for typing. One of my favorite keyboards, just a solid experience and definitely recommended. Also has backlighting on it, just one stage, so it's on or off. It's not the best in the world, but it gets the job done. I really don't have any issue with it. When it comes to the trackpad, HP is still using their elongated design here, which I don't mind actually. It's very smooth and it's glass, and overall it feels very well and has a decent click to it. However, it is using ELAN drivers, not my favorite in the world. As you probably know, I like precision. I don't know why HP just won't use precision in their consumer line. I keep bugging them about it, and I'm going to continue to. It's a good trackpad. It can be better. That's all I know. Let's talk a little bit more about the specification. So this is running an Intel Core i7 7560U. Now, I haven't really seen that kind of processor before. It is tuned slightly slower than a Surface Pro, so this goes up to about 3.8 gigahertz at turbo versus 4. Will you notice that in real life? Probably not. It's a very good processor, but performance is not quite as good as the Surface Pro at i7. In fact, it's only marginally better than the Surface Pro at i5, so just keep that in mind for performance. However, I will say HP has done something different, which is it has two fans on the inside for cooling it. The idea there is two fans can run slower and keep the device cooler versus one large fan, which would be louder. So overall, for quietness, it never really gets above 40 decibels. It does come on a little bit more often than I would like, but it's a pretty quiet fan, and it's right up there with Surface Pro. All right, when it comes to thermals, HP is doing some interesting things here. Let's say you happen to run the CPU for 100% for 30 minutes straight. Admittedly, you won't do that very often. The back of this device gets really hot. It hits 127 degrees Fahrenheit or 53 degrees Celsius. Now, that's good and bad because it's running hotter but can run at a higher clock speed for a longer duration compared to, say, Surface Pro. Same time, it gets pretty hot. So if you really want to push this thing, use it for gaming or anything else, this will actually run at a higher clock speed for a longer duration. But for everyday usage, the Surface Pro is actually faster. Now, when it comes to storage, you have plenty of options as well. You have 128, 256, 512, or even 1 terabyte PCIe NVMe storage. However, this device here actually has 360 gigabytes, which is yet another option. I actually really like that number. It fits nicely between 256 and 512. Now, this SSD is Intel, which we haven't seen very often. Usually they're Toshiba or Samsung. The read speeds are really nice on it. You get about 1250 megabits per second, and the write speeds are about 500 to 600 megabits per second. So that is good for writing, but for consumers, you really want that fast read speeds, and you get that here. We don't talk about it very often, but turning to the back here, you have a 13 megapixel rear camera, and it's actually pretty solid. It's about on average of a mediocre smartphone. And while you won't use it very often, it's definitely nice to have it. I was pretty pleasantly surprised with the quality of shots it took. In the box, HP throws in this really nice pen. It's Intrigue with 1024 levels of pressure. Now, it's not nearly as good as the new Surface pen with the Surface Pro, but that's okay. It's about on the same level as the Surface Pro 4's pen, which I really don't have too many complaints about. If you're going to be using this for note-taking or basic drawing, it's a really nice pen. Now, you're not going to get advanced tilt support, or you're not going to have that zero latency that's with the new Surface Pro, but that's okay. It's a very good pen. It's free in the box, and overall, I have really no issues with it. All right, so far so good with the HP Spectre X2. Now, compared to Surface Pro, I have to admit, the Surface Pro is actually better in almost every single way, whether it's that pen, the audio, or battery life. For instance, the battery life on the Spectre X2, it's about 6.5 hours. It's not terrible, but it's definitely below average for 2017. Now, the Spectre X2 does have USB Type-C charging, so you can plug it in for 30 minutes and get about 50% battery back. So that is pretty clever as well. But the real strength here of the Spectre X2 is simple. It's value. For about $1,200, you can get a Core i7, 256 gigs of storage, and 16 gigs of RAM. Now, that's about $1,800 for the same configuration with Surface Pro. Don't forget, Surface Pro, you still have to buy that keyboard and pen, which knocks up that price to $1,800. For $1,200 though, you get everything in one package here. $600, folks, is not insignificant. That's a big deal for a lot of people. Now, it's not wasted with Surface Pro. Like I said, that device is actually better in a lot of ways and may justify that $600 for some. For others, though, this is a perfectly fine device. I have no fatal flaws with the HP Spectre X2, and for $1,200, I think it's a fantastic experience. So that's my full review of the HP Spectre X2. Now, if you want more information about this device, make sure you head to Windows Central to read my full review where I have all the benchmarks listed. And if you like this review, give us a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching. Take care, everybody. With 256 gigs of storage and 16 gigs of RAM, that's compared to spitting. Should I do that over again?